Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you the top 3 reasons why STIHL chainsaws come in my shop leaking bar oil. Alright, so who hasn't had a STIHL chainsaw that did not leak bar oil at one point? I don't know anybody. In today's video, guys, though, I will show you the top 3 reasons why STIHL chainsaws come into my shop leaking bar oil. Some of the same issues will apply to Husqvarna chainsaws as well. But today I will be focusing more so on the STIHL chainsaws because they are more popular here where I live. Alright, so today I will start from number 1 to 3, number 1 being the most common to the least common at number 3. So the number 1 reason why STIHL chainsaws come into my shop, and maybe some of you guys have already figured it out before I will answer right now, is because of these cumbersome twist caps. So specifically on the STIHL chainsaws, these toolless oil caps, they are the number 1 reason why STIHL chainsaws come in my shop leaking bar oil. I usually tell the customer over the phone to check their oil cap and to go replace it if it's one of the twist-on caps like this. The older machines, the older saws with these screw-on caps, never had an issue with those. But when STIHL came out with these caps, it's been nothing but oil leaks, and I believe that recently there has been a recall on these caps. So if you have a STIHL chainsaw and it's leaking oil and you have one of those caps, save yourself a trip to the shop. Just go buy a new cap at the STIHL dealer. Yes, the STIHL dealer, because the original oil caps are better than the cheap ones you get online. And now the second most common reason why STIHL chainsaws come in my shop leaking bar oil is because of the oil line between the oil pump and the bar. So here's what an oil line looks like. This is from an MS-170 180 saw as well. And on the MS-180 and 170, you will find the oil line under here. You do have to kind of pop out the handlebars here from the body of the saw to access the line here. What happens with these oil lines and why they cause a leak is they will sometimes start leaking where the built-in grommet is into the oil line, especially over here. And if you used old motor oil, it will accelerate the decaying process of your oil line and possibly causing you an oil leak. Now on some other saws, you will have to take off the clutch cover, get behind the clutch to access the oil pump and the oil line over there. So that's the number 2 reason why I get STIHL chainsaws leaking bar oil in the shop. Now for the third reason why they come in my shop leaking bar oil is the oil tank vent. This is not so common, but I have touched on this and showed in a previous video how to replace that little vent. I'll show you that right now. I'll show you what these little vents look like and what to expect. Now for sure some of you guys will be wondering, where is that oil vent you're talking about, Don? Well, the oil vent on most STIHL chainsaws is right here. This little part right there. It will be the same on the 026, MS260, and many other STIHL chainsaws. And it's just a small part like this with a built-in one-way valve so that when the oil is draining from the oil tank onto the chain, the tank can vent. Now what usually happens is the one-way valve inside this little vent gets defective and the oil from the oil tank starts to come out of the vent on the exterior of the tank right here. So you'll put the saw away and you've got a big puddle of oil because it's leaking out of here. I do have a video on an MS260 or 026. I will put the link in the video description. Check the link in the top right hand section of your screen right now if you want to go watch this video. You'll see how I replace and reinstall a new valve on a STIHL chainsaw. Now on the MS-170, 180, MS-250 and other saws, what might happen sometimes is the oil tank vent may go defective or pop right out of its place. And that vent is near the muffler, so you have to take the muffler off to access it easily here. It is right here, and sometimes it just pops right out and goes missing, and people will notice their saw is leaking oil like a sieve. So if you find that this has popped out of your saw, get this little part over here. It's got an Allen head in it built in. There you can see it here. And it is part number 0000 90, I believe, 531001. Check the parts list before ordering this small part, and if you get the issue, just put it in there. This will be the least common problem that I encounter for a STIHL chainsaw that is leaking bar oil. Okay, before I end off the video here, I want to mention a comment that I got from a viewer the other day about an older STIHL 038. Now, these chainsaws are notorious for leaking bar oil all over the place. The main issue I get with those is the oil pump will leak. It gets worn out and it leaks between the shaft and the oil pump. So if you're listening today, whoever commented this, if you can get your hands on a good new or used oil pump, replace your oil pump, maybe replace your oil line at the same time, or some small seals in there between the pump and the body of the saw, and you should cure that problem. And because these saws are getting older, they are getting harder to get parts for. Now, all these issues can be fixed at home by the DIYer. You don't need to go to a shop for this. Just get these parts that I showed you. Again, the most common problem is the oil cap. The second most common problem is the oil line, and the third one is the oil tank vent. These three in that order. Not rocket science to fix, guys. You can do it. Thanks for watching. Please comment below. Let me know the major issues that you encounter with saws that leak oil in your shop. Have a good day.